and humble friends, to another episode of Primility Primer, our morning reminder of the power of balancing pride and humility as we go about our daily lives. This is episode number 77. I am your host, Jared Morris, and it is Wednesday, so we are dipping into the Wisdom Wednesday well. And so I have a quote that I want to read, and this quote is from John C. Maxwell, who has perhaps written more books about leadership than anybody on earth, maybe. I don't know. There might be someone else who is as prolific as Maxwell is writing about leadership, but I don't know who they are. And listen to this quote. It's interesting. So he says, there are two kinds of pride, both good and bad. Good pride represents our dignity and self-respect. Bad pride is the deadly sin of superiority that reeks of conceit and arrogance. And this quote comes from a 2007 paper that he wrote called Pride, A Leader's Greatest Problem. Now, I've got a link to this article. If you want to go to primility.com/show/077, you can get the link, read the article. It's a short article, short little essay, and it's useful because he talks about, these issues where pride can become a problem for a leader. He talks about, he's got, I think, 9 problems of pride, and then basically this 6-step process for recognizing your pride, which in a lot of ways kind of follows what we talk about here at Primility, right? Recognize your pride, admit your pride, express gratitude, say your prayers, practice serving others, learn to laugh at yourself. So some really good steps. But here's the thing. I've got this problem with the way that we use the word pride. Like, it is such a loaded word in this day and age because you've got these good parts of pride that Maxwell talks about, but then these old, and a lot of times they are religion-based notions of this evil pride, and it's all mixed up in this one word. And it makes it an extremely difficult word to ever use with any confidence or meaning, frankly, because if a word means two things, it doesn't mean anything. And so, for it to, like, if I just say I'm a proud person, right? Well, 10 different people could take that 10 different ways, and some people could take it to mean, oh, okay, he's got confidence, he's achieved some things, he's got a healthy amount of self-respect, and other people could take it to mean, oh my goodness, this guy is sinful, this guy is arrogant, this guy thinks he's better than everybody. What do we do with this? Well, I think that we need to, number one, I think we need to understand that. I think we need to understand that pride is a loaded word and understand that there is good pride and there is bad pride, exactly as Maxwell explains. But I think that's what makes it really hard to title a post, Pride, a Leader's Greatest Problem. Because yes, excessive pride can be, right? Like, this bad type of pride can be, where he talks about pride stops us from building a team. It renders us unreachable. It closes our mind to feedback, this, that, and the other. And all of these things are true. That bad part of pride can do that. And yet, pretty much for any leadership position, can you achieve a leadership position if you don't have a healthy sense of pride, if you don't believe that you should be in the position? If you don't take pride in your achievements that drive you to want to achieve more, now granted, it needs to be combined with the humility to want to serve others, the humility to work hard and learn from other people, of course. It's this combination. But to simply say that pride is a leader's greatest problem, I don't think is accurate. And so I think what we need, we don't need new words. We just need to use the words that we have when that's what we mean. Okay, so I'm going to go through some definitions here. And I think this is important. So first, the definition of pride: a feeling that you respect yourself and deserve to be respected by other people. Don't think anybody would argue with that as a bad thing. Second part of the definition: a feeling that you are more important or better than other people. That one's obviously problematic. We don't want to feel that we're more important. We don't want to feel that we're better than other people. And yet that's not totally bad, because for certain positions, let's say, we should believe that we are the best person for this position. This happens with athletes all the time. If a starting quarterback doesn't feel like he's the best person to be the quarterback for that team, he may have problems. And that's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. It may come from this next part, a feeling of happiness that you get when you or someone does something good or difficult. So that pride and feeling that you are the best person for this position may come from how hard you work. It may come from this feeling that you've achieved something difficult and you've earned that position. So that, again, that middle part is a little problematic there, with the feeling that you are more important or better than other people. But here's the thing. If that reaches an excess point to where it's bad, it's no longer pride. It's arrogance. All right, here's the definition of arrogance: an insulting way of thinking or behaving that comes from believing that you are better, smarter, or more important than other people. All right, so feeling that we are perhaps better for a certain position or a certain role isn't a bad thing. When that turns into an insulting way that we think or that we act, because we believe that we're better, smarter, more important than other people, now we're into arrogance. Now we're into something that is negative. All right, let's look at the definitions of conceit and vanity, which actually use the word pride in them. Okay, conceit: too much pride in your own worth or goodness. So that first definition of pride is a feeling that you respect yourself and deserve to be respected by other people. Conceit is basically saying, okay, when that runs rampant, when that goes too far, and you've got way too much pride in your own worth or goodness, now it's conceit. All right, so it's not pride anymore. It's this excessive pride. All right, how about vanity? Vanity is the quality of people who have too much pride in their own appearance, abilities, achievements. Something such as a belief or a way of behaving which shows that you have too much pride in yourself or your social status. So when these feelings of pride lead us to think that we are just better than other people in general, like better as human beings, more deserving of things than other people, in a way that is excessive and that would make us treat them poorly, now we're into conceit. Now we're into vanity. It's no longer pride. And I think if we want to be as accurate as possible with what we're saying, if we want to be as descriptive as possible with what we're saying, we need to be more careful with how we use the word pride, because it's such a loaded word, again, that different people can take it differently. And in that sense, it doesn't mean anything, because we need context with the word pride to truly understand what someone is saying. Unless, of course, we actually go and just use the definition. But pride gets used in so many ways beyond what the actual definition is that in actual use, it makes it very difficult to use the word and have it mean what we want it to mean. That's why we need to use words like conceit and vanity and arrogance, or add qualifiers like excessive pride, because pride in and of itself is not bad. Pride is good. Pride is necessary. We have to have pride to stand up and say what we have to say has meaning, that our actions have meaning, that we can step up and we can do this job, right? All these different things, we need pride to be able to say that. But there is an excess point with it, where we not only reach diminishing returns, they can actually be negative. That's conceit. That's arrogance. That's vanity. That's excessive pride. And so all I want to say with this is, especially in a Primility context, but really in any situation when we're using this word pride, let's be careful about how we use it. And let's make sure that we're not simply using the word pride to describe all of these negative feelings and outcomes, because that's not accurate. But we have plenty of other words in the English language that will allow us to describe exactly what we mean when we're trying to describe these excessive, bad elements of pride. So that is the difference between good pride and bad pride. That's why the distinction matters. Thank you very much for listening and or watching to this episode of Primility Primer. I always appreciate it when you're here. Please, if you have not yet, go to primility.com/join and join our email list. You will not get updates of every daily episode, but you will get an update email on Friday, because I know it's hard keeping up with a daily show. And that email on Friday will give you the titles and descriptions of each of the 5 episodes from the week. And then you can choose which one you want to listen to, or which ones you want to listen to and get caught up on. It is your weekly digest to stay up to date with what we're doing here at Primility Primer. I'll be back tomorrow with another brand new episode. And still then, stay cognizant of your pride and your humility. Wrist bump.